Hey everybody, here you have a problem with your laptop overheating on you, and I have a quick and easy fix that only takes a minute to get rid of that problem if you're worried about it, especially if you're pushing 90 degrees Celsius and above. Um, most modern Intel laptops are known to get pretty hot like that, and apparently it's perfectly acceptable. But if you're anything like me, I'm not trying to cook eggs here. I like to keep my cucumbers cool, and I don't want to burn my processor out any earlier than I need to. So the program that I'm using right now, just to kind of put it under load, is RuneScape. I have the HD mod on max settings, and I am surrounded by people everywhere. I decided to use a trade world because that tends to make my computer sweat quite a bit. And as you can see, that single stack of people is longer than my thing will even render there. So I have a program open right now. I'm using Specky. Just lets you know the general temperature of your CPU, sitting right around 60 degrees right now, which is great. I'm perfectly okay with that. Another program you could use is core temp. You'll get the temperature of your individual cores if that's what you're into, but I find they're pretty accurate, and usually your cores are going to be sitting pretty close to each other anyways. So I just like to get the general core temperature there, and right now under full load we're sitting great. Like I said, we're sitting at 60 degrees. There's no problems there. And I'm going to show you how I did cool that down here. So you're going to want to go into your start menu. Just look up your control panel. So if you're under category, you're going to want to go into hardware and sound, and then you'll find your power options underneath there. I usually like to have it under the large icon so everything's easier to find, and I'm kind of old school. I prefer the old layout. So go into the power options. You're going to go to whichever plan you have selected. You're going to change those plan settings. On older operating systems, the menu options might be moved around a little bit, but it's going to be fairly similar. I'm using Windows 11 right now. I'm going to change my advanced power settings. I'm going to go into my processor power management. I wouldn't worry about the minimum processor state. That's usually set at 5%. You're generally going to be running higher than that anyways. So I put mine down a bit. On battery, I put it down to 90% just to save a little power. I almost never have it unplugged anyways, so usually not too worried about that one. Yeah, we'll close that out. Make a little room here. So I'm running about 34 frames per second. Usually my RuneScape app aims for 50. Just in this area with all these people around, it is making it work a bit harder, so I'm not getting those max frames there. And I'll show you. I put mine at 95%. I did have it 97 before, and it was still kind of kicking up a little bit there. You'll want to tweak it and see what works best for your computer. I would do it under load because then you'll get like a right here and right now indication of where your temperature is at from doing that. So I'm going to apply, put it back to 100%, and immediately my CPU is cooking. And a lot of times when I have it under a load like this one, it's going to go up to like 90 degrees, yeah, or north of that. On my other app there, core temp, it was telling me some of my cores were hitting 100 degrees plus, and I really don't want that. I want my laptop to last as long as possible, so I'm going to put that back down to 95. I'm going to apply. Boom, goes down. You hear my fans kicking up. It's definitely working harder to cool itself at the moment, but it'll be back down in no time. And yeah, immediately those cores are cooled down. Oh, I guess I should see how I change the frames there. So yeah, it'll put your frames back up. But it's going to get quite a bit hotter. So this pretty much just throttles it so it doesn't put it at max power and, well, heat it right up on you. And if you're gaming on a laptop, you're probably not looking for max frame per second or anything like that. If you did want to run your games on max settings, you're probably just going to have a desktop anyways, which are generally way better at cooling themselves. So put it back to 95, back to 35 frames per second. I mean, I'm happy with that. I'm not too worried about having the frames maxed out. I would rather cut out a few frames now and cash out on them later when my computer's not dead. So yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all. Another way you can get to it too, if you go over to your battery icon on Windows 11, it's not going to work. It'll take you into your other settings, but you'll be able to get into your power settings on older operating systems that way, and it'll pretty much pull up the same screens as I pulled up before. And yeah, that's it.